Well, I came to the University of Houston Clear Lake in 1976 to teach sociology and statistics. Was interested in social change, but for some academic reasons, sociologists don't have the time to study long-term change because they can't get publications and they can't get data, and they have to have data to be able to publish, and that's just kind of an academic, not a stupid thing. It's kind of an academic problem. So I was doing sociology, more or less traditional sociology, which is called cross-sectional. So you do surveys, you can get a publication out. You do a little laboratory experiment, you can get a publication out. You can't wait 10 years for data because then you don't get your dissertation done. So I was there, interested in social change. The University of Houston Clear Lake, which is a branch campus of the University of Houston, had established this program called Studies of the Future in 1975. Futures was very hot at that time. This was Alvin Toffler time, Paul Ehrlich, Herman Kahn, the limits to growth. There was a lot of discussion of what was going on in the future. And so that they said, well, we teach about the past, why don't we teach about the future? And so they had the opportunity as a brand new university to set up all kinds of unusual degree programs which were marvelous to start off with. The only one that really survived, at least for almost 30 years, was this futures degree, because they hired two very qualified faculty members to run it, and they got a reputation. I took it over and ran it for 30 years. So that was how I got into the futures business. I have to admit, it was just total dumb luck. There was no planning involved. There was no great vision. I found this thing right there, and I said, well, I could do this, and then I did it. Retired in 2013 and founded an organization called Teach the Future. I've been teaching graduate students for 30 years, had given seminars, training programs, public speeches, you name it, you name it, you name it. And when I retired, I realized nobody's talking to young people. Well, in one sense, it's their future. We teach a lot about the past in school. Almost every grade that students go through, they take history classes, which is fine, they should. But the story stops. Not even in the present. It usually stops about 40 years before the present because that's how far the teacher gets in the semester. But nobody was talking to students about their future, about how the world could be different, preparing them for those kinds of things. And so our approach is to say that there is one story with 3 chapters, past, present, and future, and that we should think of ourselves as an episode in that story. We're a scene, we're an act. And what are we doing in that act, both in terms of what do we get from our previous generations and what are we giving, both good and bad, to future generations, and how could that be different? That's a kind of a view that I find very opening and very liberating today, because this is not the end of the story. There's still chapters yet to come. We don't know what they will be exactly, but we can talk about them, we can discuss them, and we can anticipate them nevertheless.